Greetings and welcome to Life Without Shakers. You may or may not be aware that there was a little lower league football team called Bury FC, which were, through some fault of their own and some fault of external parties, recently thrown out of the Football League. So from being a regular season ticket holder and having Saturdays generally filled up with obligations to go and have my weekend ruined sometimes, or enlightened, or uplifted sometimes. Now we find ourselves in a position where we have a lot of spare time on our hands. So Life Without Shakers is hopefully going to go into a regular series of video logs looking into the fun things that you can do when you don't have football to go and watch on a weekend. Thing to note about the blog, obviously get lots of informative films on YouTube these days, but I'm not going to pretend that this is going to be anything pretending to be expert or providing reviews of gear or showing the best way to do any particular thing. It's basically just one man's attempt to bumble his way through life. So yeah, the purpose of the vlog will be to just explore the wild and wacky adventures that you can get up to. It'll cover hopefully things like walks in the countryside, maybe the odd cycle ride, maybe a bit of home brewing, who knows. It's basically everything that fills the time when you're not match going. So this first introductory video is just looking at one quest that I've come up with, which is this, Walking the Wainwrights. I picked this up, this lovely collection, through one of these book service things that comes around at work. 20 quid for the set. It costs well over 100 if you buy them individually, so that was a total bargain. And until I started planning these walks, I'd never actually taken the cellophane off, because there didn't seem to be much reason to look at them unless I was actually going to be serious about climbing all these magnificent hills in the Lake District. And then this opportunity with all these spare weekends opened up, and it seemed like a great opportunity to explore. I mean, I've done lots and lots of the Wainwrights before. I've climbed obviously the big ones, Helvellyn, Scafell Pike, Blencathra, Skidder, Fairfield. Fairfield Horseshoe's got about 8 of them on it, and I've done the coast to coast 2 or 3 times through the lakes, so yeah, all told I felt like I'd done quite a lot already. And then having investigated on a popular internet encyclopedia, I realised I'd actually estimated I only did about 32 of them, and there's 214 in there, so that leaves a lot to go at still. So that is the immediate challenge, to plough through all 214 of them. Walking the Wainwrights is, well, it's not necessarily the easiest task. There is no obvious order to do them all in, other than one by one, following the books, but we do have some reference materials to help. Chiefly this handy book by Stuart Marshall, which is called Walking the Wainwrights, and in here he puts together a useful series of circular walks which link all the Wainwrights together by book into a number of self-contained walks that generally range between about 9 and 14 miles, so nothing too arduous in a day. So that helped, and obviously we've got the source material, which is Wainwright's Pictorial Guides with all its fabulous illustrations, and of course we've got the good old Ordnance Survey map, and it's going to be useful to use all these in combination because the OS map is great for estimating distances and heights of various fells, but what it doesn't really do is give you a good idea of where all the footpaths are, which is of course where good old AW comes in, because he has marked all the footpaths, well, all the footpaths that were there in the 50s, incredibly clearly. One thing to note is that obviously it'll be very easy to follow the Stuart Marshall way and do every walk in turn from 1 to 49, whatever it is. Yeah, that'd be fine and dandy, but just like a little bit of style, for want of a better word, so I thought I'd do is come up with my own little method, and that is to follow the Wainwright books in alphabetical order, so starting with Arlington Crag, which is a foothill of St Sunday Crag, but obviously rather than do them fully alphabetical, because that would be ridiculous, because some of the hills are in different places, you pick the alphabetical one and then locate it in the appropriate walk from Marshall book, and then you join up the logical fells, and then with the subsequent alphabetical one that hasn't already been walked, you do the same again. And I've plotted the first book, the Eastern Fells, and they fit nicely into about 7 walks, covering all 35 of them in that book. So and that worked out quite well. Every walk starts with a nice alphabetical fell. I think the only one that may not fit the pattern is Dove Crag, which is slap bang in the middle of the Fairfield Horse Show, so it's a bit illogical to climb that one first in any given walk. The rules, which I thought I'd set myself, which is ideally any given walk wouldn't go over the same fell more than once, or wouldn't repeat the same fell in subsequent walks, and also no going over fells that are in other books. So you need to finish all the books in the Eastern Fells, for example, before we go into the Far Eastern Fells, which is a little bit tricky given that some of the Far Eastern Fells are very, very close to some of the Eastern Fells. It's just the way they were divided by AW, but them's the rules, so them's what we've got to stick to. So that's the challenge, and yeah, 214 fells to go.